You ever seen a stadium full of people go from screaming to stone cold silent in under 10 seconds? That's exactly what went down last night. And it's all because CRIES. Champagne Papi himself completely broke down on stage and went OFF on Kendrick Lamar in a way nobody saw coming. Fans are still replaying the footage, frame by frame, trying to figure out what set him off. But insiders are already spilling tea that this wasn't just about music. Beef It was personal. Like family drama. Personal. It started as just another sold-out show, the lights blinding, the bass thumping, thousands chanting every word. But then, mid-song, Drake stopped. No beat, no mic drop, just a chilling silence. His voice cracked, his eyes glistened, and the next thing you know, he's shouting Kendrick's name with a string of words we can't even repeat here without risking demonetization. Some fans swear they saw tears. Others say it was pure rage. And here's the craziest part: backstage sources claim Kendrick had been in the building, not just watching, but plotting. If you thought that Kendrick-Drake's feud was dying down, you might want to sit down for this one because it just exploded in a way nobody was ready. For Dot, the energy in the air last night was electric. People had been lining up since noon, some even camping out, clutching posters, wearing merch from every Drake era. It was supposed to be one of those unforgettable nights for the fans. The kind where you leave hoarse from screaming and your phone storage is full of shaky videos. But no one in that crowd could have predicted the way the night would twist into something. Straight out of a reality TV meltdown, Drake came on stage with that slow build-up intro, the crowd losing it at every beat drop. He was smiling, cracking, little jokes between verses, just vibing in that effortless way he always does. But if you looked close enough, there was something in his eyes, like he was carrying weight no one else could see. The first few songs went fine. Then, just before the mid-set switch, something shifted. He paused, mic at his side, scanning the front rows. Some fans thought he was just soaking it in, but others said his jaw clenched, his shoulders tensed. A girl in the pit swore she heard him mumble something under his breath. A name. Kendrick's name. The beat started for the next track, but instead of rapping, he stepped back from the mic. The crowd kept cheering, waiting for the drop, but Drake's focus wasn't on the music anymore. He was staring off towards the VIP section on the side of the stage. You know that corner where industry people hang out? Half hidden behind black curtains. That's when some people noticed a figure moving back there, tall, wearing a hoodie low over the face. Some say it was Kendrick himself, though no one can confirm if it was really him. Drake's breathing changed, took off his in-ear monitor like he couldn't stand to hear the music anymore. He raised the mic again, and his voice cracked. "You think you can just walk in here like nothing happened?" He said, barely above a whisper at first, but the mic caught it. The crowd froze. Cameras shot up in every direction. Some people gasped, others screamed because they thought it was part of the act. But this wasn't a song. This was something else. He stepped closer to the edge of the stage. "Nah, you don't get to do that. Not after what you said. Not after what you did to my family." Right there, people started whispering. What did Kendrick do to his family? This was no longer about who had the better verse or the bigger hit. This was about something deeper. Something raw. From backstage, a stagehand tried to signal him to keep going with the show, but Drake ignored them. He pointed toward the side curtain, his voice rising. "You came for my blood. You came for my brother. And now you think you can just stand there and watch me?" The audience didn't know whether to cheer or stay silent. Some started chanting Drake's name, trying to hype him back into performance mode. But he wasn't in that space anymore. His face was flushed, his jaw tight, his words spilling fast now. "I stayed quiet when you dropped that track. I stayed quiet when you came at me on stage 2 years ago. I stayed quiet when you went for my mom's name. But this," his voice broke, "this is different." By now, the cameras in the crowd were catching everything. Live streams were going crazy, chat feeds blowing up with people typing in disbelief. Then came the part no one will forget. Drake's voice dropped low, almost shaking. "You took someone from me." There was a sharp intake of breath from people in the front. The words hung in the air, heavy. Nobody knew what he meant exactly, but the implication was brutal. A murmur swept through the crowd. Some fans were already piecing together their own theories. Maybe he was talking about a relationship. Maybe about a business betrayal, but a few whispered something darker, that maybe Kendrick had been involved in pulling someone close to Drake out of his life entirely. Then, without warning, Drake let out a string of curses, each one aimed at Kendrick's name like a knife. It was raw, unfiltered, not meant for cameras. But every phone in the building caught it. Security in the VIP section started moving. The hooded figure stepped back into the shadows. Drake's eyes followed them the whole way. And then something strange happened. His hands started trembling. He pressed the mic to his forehead, his shoulders shaking. People in the front rows swore they saw tears in his eyes. One fan, a guy in his 20s, shouted from the pit, "We got you, Drizzy." And the crowd tried to rally behind him, chanting his name. But it didn't snap him out of it. Instead, he said something that made the entire arena go silent. "You think I don't know about Vegas? You think I don't know what you were planning?" That single sentence lit the internet on fire within minutes. Vegas. What happened in Vegas? Was this about some secret meeting? A deal gone wrong? Or something personal that nobody had ever reported on? He stepped back from the mic stand, pacing, muttering under his breath. The band tried to keep the music rolling quietly, like they were stalling for time, but the tension was so thick, it didn't. Matter Dot from the far side of the stage, Drake's longtime friend and producer, walked out, trying to calm him down. He put a hand on Drake's shoulder, whispering something only he could hear. Drake shook his head violently, pushing him away. "Nah, they need to hear this," he said, turning back to the crowd. "You all think this is about music? Shh. Not. It's about trust. It's about betrayal. It's about someone smiling in your face and then stabbing you the second you turn around." The crowd erupted in mixed reactions, some shouting for him to spill everything, others chanting for him to keep going with the music. And just when it felt like maybe he was about to drop a bombshell name or detail, he stopped. He just stood. They're breathing hard, staring at the curtain where the hooded figure had disappeared. And that's when something happened that no one could have predicted. The lights over the stage flickered, almost like they were part of the act, but people who've been to enough shows knew that wasn't planned. A low hum came from the speakers, the kind that makes your chest vibrate. The crowd shifted uneasily. Everyone's eyes were darting between Drake and the dark corner of the VIP area where that hooded figure had vanished. And then, through the mic system, not Drake's voice, not the band. "You always were the one to talk too much." It was low, muffled, but clear enough for the front rows to hear. A wave of gasps rolled through the arena. Phones shot back up into the air. People were already screaming that it was Kendrick. Drake froze mid-step, his head snapping towards the sound. "Say it to my face," he barked, his voice shaking with both anger and adrenaline. From the shadows, a small group moved into view. Security tried to block them, but one man pushed forward, hoodie still pulled low. The crowd went absolutely wild, half of them convinced they were about to witness a live confrontation that would break the internet for weeks. Drake stepped down from the stage edge, just enough to close the gap between him and the barricade. "You think I'm scared of you? Nah, I've been waiting for this," he said, the mic still hot, every word echoing across the stadium. The hooded figure didn't step closer, but he tilted his head just slightly. "You keep my name in your mouth like you own it." The voice came again. Some fans later swore this was an audio playback, something staged, but others insisted they saw the figure's lips moving. Drake laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. It was sharp, bitter. "Own it? Nah, I'm done with this game. Done pretending like this is just bars and beats." You crossed a line, and now everyone's gonna know." The band stopped playing completely. The entire arena was filled with nothing but the hum of the sound system and the low chatter of thousands trying to figure out if what they were witnessing was even real. And then Drake said it, the sentence that made his own crew look like they'd just seen a ghost. "You think Vegas was just about business? Do you think I don't know who you met that night?" The hooded figure stayed still, but the tension in the air felt like a rubber band stretched too far. Drake pointed again, his hand shaking. "You were sitting at that table talking to someone I trusted my whole life, and now they're gone." The crowd erupted into chaotic noise. Some screamed, some booed, some just stood frozen, phones in hand, capturing every moment, every moment. At that exact second, a man from Drake's security team stepped forward, whispering urgently in his ear. Whatever was said made Drake's entire expression change. The rage didn't vanish, but it was mixed now with something like disbelief. "Nah, you're lying," he muttered, almost to himself. The hooded figure turned slightly, just enough for the arena lights to catch the outline of his jaw. A collective gasp rose from the crowd. Drake's single quotes S voice cracked again. "So it's true." "Number?" Answer. Drake dropped his mic. It hit the stage floor with a hollow thud that echoed in the silence. Without looking at anyone, he walked to the side of the stage, toward the VIP curtain. Security tried to block him, but he brushed past them, pushing into the shadows. The crowd started chanting, some screaming his name, others yelling Kendrick's. It was pure chaos. Backstage, cameras from crew members caught shaky footage of Drake squaring up to the hooded man. "You look me in the eye and tell me you didn't plan this," Drake demanded, his voice low but trembling. The figure didn't flinch. "You were too comfortable. I had to remind you." Drake's fists clenched at his sides. "Remind me of what?" "That you'll burn down anything just to win." The man pulled his hood back slightly, enough for those nearby to confirm what the internet would debate for days. It was Kendrick. But what happened next was even more shocking. Kendrick smiled. "Nah," he said softly. "This was never about winning. This was about you losing." Drake stepped forward, close enough that the space between them was nothing but heated air. "You brought my family into this," he said, his voice breaking. "You think I'm gonna just let that go?" Kendrick shrugged, a coldness in his eyes. "Your family's not innocent." Those words hit Drake like a punch. His crew started pulling him back, knowing things were seconds away from going physical. But Drake shoved them off. "Say your name?" he challenged. Kendrick's smile widened just slightly. "You already know." And then, just as it felt like fists were about to fly, the arena lights suddenly cut out completely. Total darkness. The crowd screamed a mix of excitement and panic for nearly 30 seconds. There was nothing but pitch black and the sound of thousands of voices. When the lights came back on, Kendrick was gone. Drake stood alone at the side of the stage, chest heaving, eyes scanning the crowd like he'd just lost something or someone. The rest of the show was a blur. Drake came back to the mic, tried to power through a few tracks, but his energy was off. Between songs, he muttered things like, "He's gonna regret this, and I'm not done." Fans left the arena buzzing with theories. I swore it was all staged to hype up a collab album. Others said it was too real, too raw, to be fake. Backstage whispers said Vegas was the key, that whatever happened there had ripped open an old wound neither of them could close. But the strangest part? As Drake left the stage for the final time, someone from the crew swore they saw a folded piece of paper taped to his mic stand. No one knew what was written on it, but Drake's reaction said it all. He read it once, crumpled it in his fist, and walked out without a word. And that's when the rumors really started spiraling. Faster than anyone could control. By the time Drake's tour bus even left the arena parking lot, Clips of the confrontation were flooding every social feed. People were posting blurry screenshots of the hooded figure circling the jawline, comparing it to old photos of Kendrick from interviews. Hashtags like #VegasNight and #DrakeBreakdown were trending in less than an hour. But it wasn't just the fans talking. Within minutes, so-called insiders started feeding little pieces of information to gossip blogs. One post claimed Vegas wasn't about a music deal at all. It was about a meeting between Kendrick and someone Drake had trusted for over a decade. Another said that someone wasn't just a friend, but blood. The idea that Kendrick might have been meeting with a member of Drake's own family set the internet on fire. Theories flew everywhere. Some pointed fingers at his cousin who used to handle part of his business. Others whispered about a half-brother nobody knew much about. Whatever the truth was, everyone agreed on one thing. This wasn't a rap beef anymore. This was personal war. On the bus, Drake sat in the back, the lights dim, just scrolling his phone. One of his crew members tried to tell him to put it down, to stay off the internet for the night, but he didn't even look up. Let them talk, Drake said quietly. They're gonna hear the real story soon enough. The bus was silent for a while, except for the hum of the road. Then, out of nowhere, Drake asked his driver to stop. They were on the outskirts of the city. Nowhere special. Just a quiet gas station glowing under harsh white lights. Drake got out, who'd pulled up, and walked over to a black SUV parked in the corner. The crew exchanged confused looks. Nobody knew he had a meeting set up. From the SUV, a man stepped out. Tall, wearing sunglasses even though it was past midnight. It was obvious from Drake's reaction that he knew him. "You told me it was handled," Drake said immediately, his tone sharper than anyone on his team had heard in months. The man shook his head. "I told you it could be handled, but you didn't want to hear the part about what he already knew." Drake took a step closer. "So you're telling me Kendrick was already in on it before Vegas?" The man hesitated, which was answer enough. Drake's voice dropped, almost like he didn't want his own crew to hear. "If he drops that name, if he tells the world what really happened, it's over for more than just me." The man nodded grimly. "Then you'd better be ready to fight fire with fire." After a tense moment, Drake turned back toward the bus without another word. His crew was full of questions, but the look on his face kept them all quiet. Meanwhile, back online, a different storm was brewing. A fan account posted what they claimed was leaked audio from backstage after the lights went out. In it, a voice that sounded a lot like Kendrick's could be heard saying, "He's not going to tell them the part about her." Her, that single word sent everyone into overdrive. Who was her? People were digging through old interviews, lyrics, even blurry photos from parties, trying to piece together who the mystery woman could be. Some thought it was an ex. Others thought it was someone in the industry with major power. By the next morning, news outlets were running headlines about the confrontation. Some treated it like a publicity stunt. Others said it was a dangerous escalation. But behind the scenes, something even bigger was happening. Someone slipped an envelope under the door of Drake's hotel suite while he was asleep. No name on it, no return address. Inside was a single Polaroid photo, grainy, taken at night, of Kendrick sitting at a table in Vegas with a woman whose face was turned. Just enough to be recognizable to Drake. His hands shook as he held the photo. The woman in it wasn't an ex. It wasn't a friend. It wasn't anyone the public would know. It was family. He put the photo back in the envelope and sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the carpet. One of his closest friends knocked on the door. "Bro, you good?" Drake didn't answer at first. Finally, he said, "He's not just trying to hurt me. He's trying to destroy everything I've built." Later that day, Kendrick posted a single cryptic story on his social media. A black background with the words "Truth comes in waves" written in plain white text. No tags, no explanation. Fans instantly connected it to the Vegas rumors. Some said it meant Kendrick was planning to drop a diss track. Others thought it meant more stage drama was coming. But those who knew the history between them felt something different. This was a warning that night. Drake canceled his scheduled appearance at an after-party. Instead, he stayed in his hotel room calling people from his past, trying to figure out how Kendrick had even made contact with certain people in his family. And somewhere, deep in the city, Kendrick was seen leaving a recording studio at 3 a.m., smirking as cameras flashed. By morning, a new layer of the story had surfaced. An anonymous source claimed Kendrick had a recording, not a song, but a conversation that would change the way people see Drake forever. Whether or not that was true didn't matter. The seed was planted. The fans were waiting, the industry was watching, and Drake. He was running out of time to decide whether to defend himself in private or burn it all down in public. And just when it felt like things couldn't get any more intense, something happened that turned the whole situation from an industry feud into a straight-up reality TV cliffhanger late in the afternoon. While Drake's team was holed up in his hotel suite trying to strategize, one of his security guys came in holding a small, unmarked USB drive. It had been slid under the door in a plain plastic bag. No note, no name. Drake stared at it for a long moment before plugging it into a laptop. What popped up on screen wasn't music. It was a grainy video handheld, shaky of the Vegas meeting. The camera was somewhere high, like from a balcony or a security feed someone had smuggled out. It showed Kendrick sitting at a round table with two other people. One was clearly the same woman from the Polaroid. The other was a man Drake recognized instantly, an old friend from his early days in Toronto. Someone who had vanished from his life years ago after a falling out. The footage had no sound, but the body language was unmistakable. Kendrick leaned in close, the woman looking nervous, the man nodding like he was sealing a deal. Drake slammed the laptop shut. "How many people have seen this?" he demanded. "Just us," the security guy replied. "But if someone sent it to you, you can bet they sent it to other people too." Drake ran his hands over his face. "He's playing me. It's making me react so I slip up before he drops whatever he's really holding." Meanwhile, out in the real world, Kendrick's next move landed like a punch. He posted a short clip on his socials, not of the Vegas meeting, but of him walking through a dimly lit hallway, whistling. At the end of the clip, he looked into the camera and said, "For days." No context, no explanation. Just 4 days. Fans lost their minds. For days until what? A diss track? A video? An expose? Drake's team scrambled. Some wanted him to get ahead of it and release his own version of events. Others said to stay quiet and let the hype die down. Drake wasn't convinced of either plan. That night, during a private rehearsal, Drake stopped mid-song and turned to his band. "If he wants a war, we're gonna give him one," he said, "but we're gonna do it my way." The next day, rumors started that Drake was preparing a truth event, not a song, not an interview, but a live broadcast where he'd speak directly to fans about everything. No script, no filter, but Kendrick wasn't about to let him control the narrative. Less than 24 hours after the rumor hit, Kendrick's camp leaked another piece of the Vegas puzzle to a blog. It was a still image from what looked like a text thread. The message, allegedly sent by someone close to Drake, read, "He'll never see it coming." Drake saw the post, and for the first time in days, he smiled. But it wasn't a happy smile. It was the kind that meant he'd made a decision. That night, Drake went on stage in another city. And from the very first song, his energy was different. There was no hesitation, no pause between tracks. But halfway through, he stopped and addressed the crowd directly. "You've all heard the noise, you've all seen the clips. And yeah, some of it's true. But what you don't know is that Vegas wasn't the first time, it was the third." The audience erupted. This man has been moving in the shadows for years. making moves behind my back, smiling in my face while shaking hands with the people who would love nothing more than to see me fall. He leaned on the mic stand, eyes scanning the crowd. And I'm telling you right now, he's not gonna win. The rest of the show went off without another mention, but the damage or the setup was done. By the time he left the stage, social media was drowning in speculation about what the first two times could have been. Backstage, crew member handed him another note. It wasn't typed this time. It was handwritten. The ink slightly smudged dot. It read, "She's not. Who do you think she is?" No signature. Drake stared at the note for a long time before folding it and putting it in his pocket. Whatever was coming in those 4 days, he clearly intended to face it head-on. Meanwhile, Kendrick was spotted in Los Angeles, leaving a luxury hotel with none other than the same woman from the Vegas footage. They didn't speak to the paparazzi, but their smiles told a story all on their own. Fans were now completely divided. Some believed Kendrick was exposing a truth Drake had been hiding for years. Others were convinced it was all an elaborate mind game designed to push Drake into a corner. And as the countdown to 4 days ticked away, one thing was certain. Whatever was about to drop would either clear Drake's name or shatter it for good. But no one, not even Drake himself, could predict just how far the fallout would reach. Drake either takes control of his own story or watches it spiral out of his hands. Fans are split down the middle. Some are saying this is the moment Drake finally snaps back harder than ever. That he's been holding something in his arsenal that's going to turn the tables completely. Others, they're convinced Kendrick's been holding the upper hand from the start. He's playing this like a chess game while Drake's been reacting like it's checkers. But there's something no one can ignore: the look in Drake's eyes. During that last show, it wasn't just anger. It wasn't just pride. There was a flicker of something else: fear. And if Drake's afraid, you have to ask yourself, what's really on that Vegas footage? Who is that woman? And what did Kendrick mean when he said she's not who you think she is? These next few days could change everything in the rap world. Friendships, alliances, careers. Nothing's safe if the truth is as explosive as the whispers suggest. And now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you believe Drake's been the victim in all this, blindsided by someone he once trusted? Or do you think Kendrick's about to expose something we've all missed? Drop your theories in the comments right now. We'll be watching to see who gets it right. If you want to be the first to know what happens when that 4 days deadline hits, make sure you hit like, smash that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. Because when the truth drops, it's going to hit harder than any diss track you've ever heard.